5 a.m. The alarm hasn't gone off yet, but I'm already awake, eyes open, staring at the ceiling of my one-bedroom apartment in Denver. This is how it's been for 13 years. My body doesn't remember how to sleep past dawn. The Army wired my circadian rhythm and forgot to unwire it when they discharged me. I lie there for another minute, listening to the sounds of the building waking up around me, someone's coffee maker gurgling 2 floors down, a dog barking, traffic starting to build on Colfax Avenue. Normal sounds, civilian sounds, the kind of sounds that used to feel foreign but now just feel empty. The nightmare is still fresh. It's always the same one, the explosion, the sand, the screaming, and Rachel Donovan's voice calling my name across the desert wind. Rachel with her red hair and her Metallica patches, and her laugh that could cut through any tension. Rachel who was 23 years old when an RPG turned her into memory. Therapy calls it PTSD. I call it Tuesday. I swing my legs out of bed. The scar on my right knee pulls tight legacy of a helicopter landing that went wrong in 2007. I've got a collection of these souvenirs. The puckered skin on my left forearm where shrapnel carved out a chunk of muscle. The thin white line on my neck where something sharp kissed skin and moved on. The invisible ones that no amount of VA therapy ever quite reaches. My apartment is small. 700 square feet of disciplined minimalism. Everything has a place. Nothing is out of order. The kitchen counter is clear except for a coffee maker that's already started its automatic brew cycle. The books on the shelf are organized by height. The clothes in my closet are arranged by color and function. Some habits you can't break. Some habits keep you sane. I walk to the closet and open it. T-shirts folded with military precision. Jeans with creases that could cut paper. And there on the left side, the jacket. The Echo Response jacket. The fabric is faded green, the kind of sun-bleached color that only comes from months under desert sun. From sand that gets into everything. From washing machines that run on generator power and hope. The sleeves are frayed at the cuffs like they've been through a war, which they have. The shoulder seam hangs by threads that should have given up years ago, but somehow it keeps holding on through pride or stubbornness or both. And the patch on the left shoulder, 519 Echo Response. You can barely see it now, just ghost threads on ghost fabric, the outline of something that used to mean something, wings or claws or maybe nothing at all depending on how the light hits it. The kind of patch that isn't in any regulation manual, the kind that stopped existing officially in 2011. 8 people wore this patch, 3 are still alive. I reach out and touch it. The fabric is soft under my fingers, worn smooth by time and memory. For a moment, I'm back there. The heat, the dust, the sound of Doc's voice over the radio. Rachel laughing at something stupid. Tyler showing everyone pictures of his newborn daughter for the 100th time. Then the moment passes, and I'm just a 52-year-old woman standing in a Denver apartment, touching a jacket that most people would throw in the Goodwill bin. My phone buzzes on the nightstand. Email notification. I walk over and check it. The message is from Fort Carson Logistics Department. Subject line, Civilian Volunteer Opportunity. I open it. Civilian volunteer needed for weekend training exercise. Military logistics experience preferred. Saturday 0800 to 1700. Meals provided. No compensation. If interested, please respond with relevant experience. I read it 3 times. Look at my bank account. 3 weeks without a contract job. Savings account getting thin. The rent is due in 12 days, and I've got enough for this month and maybe next month if I'm careful. But that's not why I'm considering it. I'm considering it because the silence in this apartment is driving me insane. Because I've watched every show on Netflix twice. Because the only person I've talked to in 4 days is the cashier at King Soopers, who asked if I wanted paper or plastic. Because I used to be part of something. And now I'm part of nothing. I hit reply. Type quickly before I can change my mind. Available, Lena Hartley, former Army Logistics, 8 years active duty, can provide references if needed. I don't mention my rank, don't mention Echo Response, Don't mention anything that might raise questions I'm legally prohibited from answering. Send. The phone buzzes again immediately. I think it's a confirmation email, but it's not. It's a call. Unknown number. Colorado area code. I let it go to voicemail. Unknown numbers are never good news. 30 seconds later, the voicemail notification pops up. I almost delete it without listening. That's what I usually do. But something makes me press play. The voice is male, old, shaking. Ms. Hartley, my name is Thomas Donovan. I'm Rachel Donovan's father. Someone gave me your number. They said you knew my daughter. They said she didn't die in a training accident like the Army told us. I need to know the truth. Please. I've been trying to reach you for 2 years. Just call me back. Please. The message ends. I stand there holding the phone. My hand is shaking. Thomas Donovan, Rachel's father. I met him once at her funeral. He'd looked at me with those devastated eyes and asked if I knew how his daughter died. And I'd lied to his face, told him it was a training accident. Quick, painless. She didn't suffer. All lies. Every word. Rachel died screaming my name while I ran toward her through enemy fire. She died because an RPG hit her position while she was covering the evacuation of a convoy we weren't authorized to save. She died a hero, and her father was told she tripped during a training exercise. I have 47 voicemails from Thomas Donovan saved in a folder I never open. 47 messages asking for the truth. And I've called him back 47 times, phone pressed to my ear, listening to his voice on the answering machine, then hanging up before the beep, because I still can't speak the words I'm forbidden to say. But I can't tell him. Not yet. The non-disclosure agreement I signed in 2011 is legally binding. If I violate it, I go to federal prison for disclosure of classified information. Minimum sentence 10 years, maximum 25. And if I'm in prison, there's no one left to remember Rachel. So I delete the message, like I deleted the other 47. And I live with the weight. I walk back to the closet, look at the jacket again. It's just fabric, just thread and patches and memories. It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't change anything. But I take it off the hanger anyway, slide my arms through the sleeves, feel the familiar weight settle onto my shoulders. The fabric smells like storage and time, but underneath there's still a hint of something else. Dust, sweat, the particular scent of military canvas that's been halfway around the world. I look at myself in the mirror, 52 years old, gray threading through dark hair that I still wear pulled back tight even though no one's going to inspect it. Shoulders straight despite the hitch in my right step, face that's seen too much sun and too many things that don't make it into official reports. And the jacket, faded and frayed and real. I'm not wearing it to prove anything. I'm wearing it because it still fits. Because it's mine. Because 13 years ago I earned the right to wear it, and no NDA can take that away. My phone buzzes again. This time it's the confirmation email from Fort Carson. Thank you for your interest. Please report to Supply Depot Building 7 at 0800 Saturday. Bring valid ID and this authorization letter attached. Ask for Private Davis at the main counter. I download the attachment, print it out, 3 pages of official letterhead and signatures and bureaucratic language that basically says I'm allowed to be there. It's Wednesday. I've got 3 days to change my mind. I don't change my mind. Saturday morning comes cold and clear. October in Colorado means the air bites and the sky is that particular shade of blue that makes you believe in things. I'm up at 5 like always. Coffee, shower. The small rituals that mark the difference between functional and falling apart. I dress carefully. Jeans, boots, a plain black t-shirt, and over it all, the jacket. The drive to Fort Carson takes 40 minutes. I know the route by heart. I've driven it 100 times for various contract jobs over the years. Down I-25, exit at Circle Drive, past the welcome sign that says, Fort Carson the Mountain Post. The mountains rise up behind the base like ancient sentinels snow already dusting their peaks. The gate guard checks my ID and the authorization letter. He's young, maybe 20, and he barely glances at the paperwork before waving me through. Just another civilian contractor coming to do a job no one else wants to do. The base looks the way every Army base looks on a Saturday morning, half awake, motor pool coming to life with the sound of diesel engines coughing and sputtering, a few soldiers in PT gear jogging past in formation, their cadence calls echoing off the brick buildings, the smell of coffee from the dining facility mixing with the ever-present scent of vehicle exhaust and cut grass. I park my Ford Ranger in the visitor lot near Building 7. The truck is 20 years old and burning oil, but it starts every time, and that's all I need. I grab the authorization letter and step out into the cold morning air. Building 7 is a massive warehouse structure, all concrete and metal siding, painted that particular shade of Army beige that manages to look both official and depressing. The sign out front says, Supply Depot, authorized personnel only. I'm authorized. For today, at least. The door opens into a wall of fluorescent light and conditioned air. The depot is already buzzing with activity even though it's only 0745. Monday morning energy on a Saturday, everyone trying to get gear squared away before some inspection or another. The interior is exactly what you'd expect. Rows and rows of metal shelving units stacked with equipment, pallets of MREs, folded camouflage netting, boxes of boots arranged by size, the distinctive smell of cardboard and canvas, and that particular military blend of coffee and industrial cleaner. Behind the main counter, a young private is arguing with his computer terminal. He's pecking at the keys like he's afraid they might bite back. His name tape reads Davis, and he has the look of someone who's been in uniform for maybe 6 months, fresh, nervous, trying to figure out the rules. There are other people scattered throughout the depot. 2 specialists near the uniform rack debating boot brands with theological intensity. A civilian contractor rolling ammunition crates on a hand truck. A staff sergeant in the back office visible through a window talking on the phone. And near the coffee station, 3 second lieutenants. I notice them immediately. It's the way they carry themselves, that particular confidence that comes with new rank and 0 real-world experience. Fresh out of officer school, shiny bars, pressed uniforms that have never seen dirt. I walk up to the counter. Private Davis looks up, sees me, and his expression goes carefully neutral, in that way young soldiers have when they're not sure what they're dealing with. "Morning, ma'am," he says, trying to sound professional. "Can I help you?" I slide the authorization letter across the counter. "Lena Hartley, I'm here for the logistics volunteer position. This should have everything you need." He takes the letter, reads it, frowns at it, then types something into his computer. The frown deepens. He says, clicking his mouse a few times. "System says I need manual approval for civilian volunteers. It's not... the letter looks good, but the computer won't let me override without a supervisor signature." "Okay," I say. "Where's your supervisor?" "He's at the 0800 briefing. Won't be back until 0930 probably." So I wait. "I guess I'm sorry, ma'am. It's just... the system, you know." I know. The military runs on systems and forms and approval chains that make the DM5 look efficient. You learn to wait. You learn patience. You learn that fighting the system takes more energy than just sitting down and letting it run its course. "No problem," I say. "I'll wait over there." I gesture to a metal bench against the back wall. It's one of those institutional pieces designed to be uncomfortable in every possible way. Cold metal that conducts the depot's aggressive air conditioning straight through your clothes. But I've sat in worse places and waited for better reasons. I sit down, pull out a small paperback from my jacket pocket, a book on coping strategies I've read 3 times already. I'm not really reading it. I'm just giving my hands something to do. That's when I hear them. The 3 lieutenants by the coffee station. Their voices carry across the depot the way young male voices always do when they think they're being quiet, but actually aren't. Halloween's not for another few months. The first one says it. Tall guy, athletic build. Name tape reads Sullivan. He's got his coffee cup raised halfway to his mouth, but he's looking past it, looking at me. His buddy laughs, shorter, but with the kind of posture that suggests he's compensating for something. Name tape Foster. "Look at that jacket," Foster says. "Goodwill special, you think." The third one, Pierce, according to his name tape, leans in like he's sharing a secret. She probably found it in her grandfather's attic. You know the type. Put on some old uniform and suddenly they're war heroes. They're not whispering. They're using that volume that says they want to be heard but can give plausible deniability if called on it. The kind of voice officers learn somewhere between map reading and leadership principles. I don't look up, don't react. Just turn a page in my book even though I haven't read a single word on it. Sullivan takes a sip of his coffee, shakes his head with theatrical sympathy. Some people just can't let go. Probably tells war stories at the VFW about missions that never happened, secret operations in countries that don't exist. Foster warms to the theme. I bet she's got a whole closet full of stuff like that. Fake ribbons, made-up patches, the whole stolen valor starter pack. Pierce nods sagely. They always count on people being too polite to challenge them. Flash a scar, show a patch nobody recognizes, and wait for someone to thank them for their service. More laughter. Comfortable. Safe. The kind that comes easy when you're punching down at someone who won't punch back. I keep my eyes on the page. My hand is steady. My breathing is controlled. But inside, there's a small voice saying things I can't say out loud. You don't know. You can't know. And I can't tell you. The patch on my shoulder, the faded ghost of 519 echo response, it's real. More real than anything these kids have experienced in their entire military careers combined. But there's no way to prove it. No records they can Google. No unit history on Wikipedia. No photos on military forums. Because echo response never officially existed. We were a shadow logistics unit. 8 people doing jobs that couldn't be acknowledged. Supporting operations that had to maintain plausible deniability. We ran supplies to places that weren't on maps. We coordinated movements that never appeared in after-action reports. And on October 15, 2011, we violated direct orders to save 57 Americans who were about to die in an ambush. 2 of my soldiers died that day. Rachel Donovan, 23, red hair, loved Metallica. Tyler Griffith, 22, new father-daughter, was 3 months old. They died heroes, and the Army called it a training accident because the truth was classified. But I can't tell these lieutenants any of that. The NDAI, signed 13 years ago, is legally binding. Violate it, go to prison. It's that simple. So I sit, and I wait. And I let them think what they want to think. Because the truth doesn't need my defense. The truth just is. Sullivan is on a roll now. The best part is how they never give you details. It's always classified or need to know or my personal favorite, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. Because who's going to challenge that? Right, Foster agrees. I had a guy in my ROTC class who pulled the same thing, claimed his dad was Special Forces, showed up to military ball wearing ribbons that didn't exist. Turns out the old man was motor pool. They laugh again. And somewhere in that laughter, there's the sound of everything wrong with a certain kind of officer. The kind who thinks rank means wisdom. Who thinks a college degree means experience. Who thinks 4 months at officer school makes them qualified to judge soldiers who've actually been there. I've known officers like this before. Some of them learned. Some of them got people killed. I'm hoping these 3 are the former. Private Davis glances over at me from the counter. There's something in his expression, embarrassment maybe, or sympathy. He opens his mouth like he's going to say something to the lieutenants, then closes it. Smart kid. Enlisted don't challenge officers unless they want paperwork. I turn another page. Still haven't read a word. The depot continues its Saturday morning rhythm around me. Forklift beeping somewhere in the back. Someone arguing about a missing shipment. The coffee maker by the entrance gurgling and hissing like it's personally offended by existence. My shoulder aches where old shrapnel carved a permanent reminder into muscle and bone. The kind of ache that weather brings out. That stress makes worse. That will never quite go away no matter how much physical therapy the VA throws at it. I shift position on the bench and my jacket moves enough that the patch on my shoulder catches the light differently. Just for a second. Just enough. The civilian contractor who was rolling ammunition crates stops mid-stride. He's older, maybe 60, gray beard, wearing a veteran ball cap. His eyes lock on the patch, go wide, like he's seen something that shouldn't exist. He stares for 3 full seconds. Then he turns and walks quickly toward the back office, leaving his hand truck right there in the middle of the aisle. Moving with purpose, moving like someone who just realized something important. I notice, but I don't react. I've seen this before, a few times over the years. Someone who recognizes the ghost patch. Someone who knows what it means even though they're not supposed to know. Someone who is probably read into programs they can't talk about either. They never say anything. They just know. And then they walk away. I close my book, not because I'm upset, not because I'm planning to do anything, just because I realize I'm not going to read it and there's no point in pretending. I set it on the bench beside me and look straight ahead at the supply shelves. Rows of equipment, boots, packs, the tools that keep soldiers alive in the field. The unglamorous work of logistics that never makes headlines but wins wars. This is what I did, what I was good at, making sure the right gear got to the right people at the right time. It's not sexy, it's not the kind of thing movies are made about, but it matters. Rachel understood that. Tyler understood that. They died making sure other soldiers had what they needed to survive. But these lieutenants don't know that, can't know that, and I can't tell them. I think about my DD-214. It's in a fireproof safe in my apartment. Honorable discharge, 8 years service, list of duty stations that's mostly accurate and partly redacted. Commendations that mean nothing because the operations that earned them never officially happened. I could show it to them. Shut them up immediately, but I won't, because proving myself to people who haven't earned my respect is beneath me. The minutes tick by. 0800 comes and goes. Private Davis keeps glancing at me apologetically, then back at his computer like he's hoping it will magically approve my authorization. At 0815, the door to the back office opens. Master Sergeant O'Connor steps out. He's the one who was on the phone earlier. Older guy, probably late 40s, with the kind of bearing that says he's been doing this job since before these lieutenants were born. He walks past the coffee station without acknowledging the officers, comes straight to the counter, leans down and says something quiet to Private Davis. Davis points at me. O'Connor looks, studies my face. Then his eyes drop to my shoulder, to the patch. I see it happen. The recognition, the confusion, the calculation. He straightens up, walks back to his office, but he leaves the door open and I can see him pick up the phone again, dial a number. His face is serious, intent. Something is happening. I don't know what, but the energy in the depot has shifted somehow, like air pressure changing before a storm. I wait. The lieutenants are still talking, but quieter now. Sullivan glances over at me, then back to his audience. Says something I can't hear. They all look, then quickly look away. 0830. The main door opens and someone walks in. I don't turn to look, but I hear the change, the sudden silence, like someone cut the power to every conversation in the building. Footsteps, measured, deliberate, combat boots on concrete. The footsteps stop somewhere behind me, and a voice low gravelly carrying the weight of command says 3 words. 519 echo response. My heart stops. I turn around slowly and look up at the man standing there. Brigadier General, combat patches up both sleeves, face weathered like he's seen things aged beyond his years by multiple combat deployments. Dark hair showing early gray at the temples. Maybe 38 years old, young for a 1-star, but battlefield promotions come fast for those who earn them. He's holding a cup of coffee, looking down at me, looking at the patch on my shoulder, and I realize I know this face. Older now, 13 years older, but I've seen it before, through a rifle scope on a ridge in Afghanistan, a young lieutenant 25 years old, terrified calling for air support that wasn't coming. Lieutenant Mitchell Kane, the man I saved in Devil's Canyon. He's not a lieutenant anymore. That unit doesn't exist, sir, I say quietly. His jaw tightens. It did, October 15th, 2011. Nobody outside Echo Response knows that date. Nobody except the 57 people we saved. Where did you serve, he asks. My mouth is dry. Operation Black Dune, Operation Crimson Ridge. Devil's Canyon, he says. Not a question. A confirmation. I stand up. We're face to face now. His eyes search mine, looking for something. Confirmation, recognition, truth. Ghost Angel, he whispers. The name hits me like artillery. Ghost Angel. That's what I called myself on the radio that day. That's what I said when I broke protocol and told a dying convoy that help was coming. Lieutenant Kane, I manage. Brigadier General Mitchell Kane now, he says. But yes, I was that scared lieutenant you saved. The depot is absolutely silent, every person frozen, every conversation stopped. Even the forklift in the back has quit beeping. Kane is still looking at me. 13 years of searching in his eyes. I've been looking for Ghost Angel for 13 years, he says. No records, no names, mission classified so deep I couldn't access it even with General's stars. How did you find me? I didn't. You walked into my base wearing the patch I've seen in my nightmares for over a decade. He points at the faded 519 insignia. I memorized that patch. The day you saved us, I looked up through my scope, saw 4 soldiers on the ridge. One of them had that exact patch, barely visible even then. You remember that detail? I remember everything, Kane says. His voice cracks just slightly. The IED, the fire, thinking I was dead, then your voice on the radio. This is Ghost Angel, we're coming. He takes a breath. You saved 57 lives that day. Lost 2 of my own, I say quietly. I know. Rachel Donovan, Tyler Griffith. I've read every casualty report from October 2011, looking for them, looking for you. The weight of 13 years sits between us, all the silence, all the questions that couldn't be answered, all the truth that couldn't be spoken, and now here we are, in a supply depot in Colorado. The ghost and the man she saved. Kane turns sharply. His voice cuts across the depot like a blade. I need the NCO in charge, now. Master Sergeant O'Connor practically runs out of his office. Sir Tom, Kane points at me. This is Sergeant First Class Lena Hartley, Echo Response Group, Task Force Black Operations. Every head in the depot turns. The lieutenants by the coffee station stand frozen. And I realize after 13 years of silence, someone is finally going to tell the truth. Kane doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. When a brigadier general speaks in a military facility, every word carries the weight of decades of command authority. October 15th, 2011, he begins. The depot is so quiet I can hear the fluorescent lights humming overhead. My convoy carried 57 personnel through an area of operations designated Route 7. We were transporting classified equipment, standard movement, nothing unusual. He pauses. Looks at the gathered soldiers, the 3 lieutenants, Private Davis behind the counter, all of them frozen in place. We lost air support 30 minutes before entering the target area. Communications went down. Standard protocol said abort the mission, but we had orders, direct from Task Force Command, move the equipment, no delays. I can see it in his eyes. He's back there, in the desert, in the convoy. 25 years old and scared out of his mind, but trying not to show it because he's an officer and officers don't show fear. 0743. We entered a canyon. The locals called it Devil's Canyon. I remember thinking the name was dramatic, probably some lieutenant's idea of psychological operations. He takes a breath. 0744. IED detonated under the lead vehicle. Humvee flipped, started burning. 4 casualties in the first 10 seconds. Then the small arms fire started. From the ridge, from both sides of the canyon. From positions we couldn't see and couldn't reach. The lieutenants aren't smiling anymore. Sullivan's coffee cup is frozen halfway to his mouth. We were in a kill box, Kane continues. Taliban had us zeroed from 3 sides, high ground, prepared positions. They'd been waiting for us. This wasn't an opportunistic attack. This was a professional ambush. He looks at me. We called for air support. 20 minutes out, we had wounded. We had no cover. And we were running out of ammunition. Master Sergeant O'Connor is standing at attention. His face has gone pale. I thought we were dead. Kane says quietly. All of us. I was 25 years old, and I thought I was going to die in a canyon in Afghanistan, and my parents were going to get a folded flag and a letter from someone who never knew me. He turns back to the depot. Then I heard a voice on the radio, female, calm, like she was ordering coffee instead of running into a firefight. She said, "Convoy Kane, this is Ghost Angel. We're coming in from your 6. Do not fire on our position." I remember that moment, switching frequencies, finding their channel, hearing the panic in young Lieutenant Kane's voice, and knowing I had maybe 2 minutes to change the outcome. I didn't know who Ghost Angel was, Kane says. It wasn't in my briefing, wasn't on any support list. I thought maybe it was a call sign I'd missed, or air support coming in early. I asked Ghost Angel, "What's your ETA? Are you fixed wing or rotary?" He smiles slightly, a sad smile. And the voice said, "Neither, ground element, 4 personnel. Just stay alive, Lieutenant." The depot is absolutely silent. You could hear a pin drop on concrete, and it would echo. 4 personnel, Kane repeats. 4 soldiers, against 40-plus Taliban in prepared positions. No air support, no backup, no authorization that I could verify. He looks at me again. But they came anyway. I can feel every eye in the building on me now. The weight of their stares, the questions forming in their minds. Private Davis looks like he's stopped breathing. Kane continues. For 15 minutes, Ghost Angel's team drew fire away from our position, created enough chaos that we could evacuate our wounded and move to a defensible position. They didn't wipe out the Taliban. They didn't win the firefight. They just changed the equation, made it possible for us to survive until air support arrived. He takes a step toward me. 57 Americans went home because of that. 57 people got to see their families again, have careers, have children, live lives. His voice drops. But Ghost Angel lost 2. The silence somehow gets deeper. I found out later. Took me years of digging through classified casualty reports. 2 soldiers from an unspecified unit died on October 15, 2011, in what was listed as a training accident. Corporal Rachel Donovan. Specialist Tyler Griffith. I close my eyes, hearing their names spoken out loud after 13 years of silence. Rachel, Tyler, the ghosts I carry. Training accident, Kane says, and there's anger in his voice now. That's what the families were told. Quick, painless, nothing heroic, just an accident. He looks directly at Sullivan, at Foster, at Pierce. Those 2 soldiers died drawing enemy fire so my convoy could escape. They died violating orders to save Americans they'd never met, and the Pentagon classified it, buried it, told their families lies because the truth was inconvenient. Master Sergeant O'Connor's face has gone from pale to gray. He knows what's coming. Kane turns to him. "Sergeant Major, this woman served with the 519 Echo Response Group. That unit operated under Joint Task Force Black Operations Protocol. Triple black classification, minimal records, 0 public acknowledgement, complete operational deniability." O'Connor snaps to attention. It's 2. "Understood, sir. She is owed full respect and full cooperation. If she needs equipment, we provide it. No forms, no delays, no questions." That's a direct order from a flag officer. "Yes, sir." Kane raises his voice slightly, not shouting, but making sure every person in the building hears him. Consider this a standing directive for anyone who interacts with Sergeant First Class Hartley. She has earned more respect than most soldiers will in a full career, and she did it while not being allowed to talk about it. Lieutenant Sullivan sets his coffee cup down slowly. His hand is shaking. Kane looks at me one more time. "The patch on your shoulder. It's real. You're real. And for 13 years you've carried the weight of silence because that's what the mission required." I don't know what to say. I've spent 13 years not talking about this, not defending myself, not explaining. And now someone is doing it for me, and I feel like I'm watching it happen to someone else. "Thank you, sir," I manage. "I'm not doing you a favor, Sergeant. I'm correcting an oversight." He nods once, then turns and walks toward the back office with O'Connor, leaving me standing there in the middle of the depot with everyone staring. Private Davis is the first to move. He practically jumps back to his computer terminal. "Ma'am," he stammers, let me get that authorization processed right now. Just give me 1 second." His fingers fly across the keyboard, override codes, manual approvals. The system that wouldn't let him help me 10 minutes ago suddenly cooperates completely. "You're all set," he says. "Everything's approved. I'll get your gear." He disappears into the back and returns with a sealed pack. Boots, hydration system, gloves, work kit, everything properly issued. He sets it on the counter with the kind of care usually reserved for explosives. "Is there anything else you need, ma'am? Anything at all?" "This is fine," I say. "Thank you, Private." "No, ma'am, thank you." He means it. I can see it in his eyes. Whatever he thought about me when I walked in, it's different now. I pick up the gear and turn toward the door. That's when I see the 3 lieutenants. They're still standing by the coffee station, but they look like they want to sink into the floor and disappear. Lieutenant Sullivan takes a step forward, then stops, clears his throat, takes another step. "Ma'am." I stop. Look at him. He's pale, sweating slightly despite the air conditioning. He opens his mouth, closes it, tries again. "Ma'am, I need to apologize for earlier, for what I said. I didn't realize." "You didn't ask," I say, 2 words, that's all. But they land like hammer blows. Sullivan flinches. "No, ma'am, I didn't." Lieutenant Foster steps up beside him. "Ma'am, we were out of line, completely out of line. There's no excuse." I look at both of them, young, confident an hour ago, humbled now, learning a lesson that's going to stick with them for the rest of their careers. "You made assumptions," I say quietly, "about someone you didn't know, based on appearances, based on stereotypes. In combat, assumptions get people killed." "Yes, ma'am," Sullivan says. His voice is barely above a whisper. Lieutenant Pierce hasn't moved. He's standing back, face red, looking at his boots. I could leave it there, walk away, let them stew in their embarrassment. But I remember being young and stupid. I remember making mistakes. And I remember the NCOs who taught me better instead of just punishing me. "We all come up through something," I say. "You 3 just came up through this. Learn from it. Next time someone shows up wearing something you don't recognize, ask them about it. Don't mock them. Don't assume. Ask." Sullivan nods. "Yes, ma'am, I will." "Good." I turn to go, then stop, look back. "Lieutenant Foster." He snaps to attention. "Ma'am." "What's your father's first name?" He blinks, confused by the question. "Brennan, ma'am. Brennan Foster Sr. He's a command sergeant major at Fort Bragg." I nod slowly. "How old is he?" 39, ma'am." The math clicks. 39 now, which means 13 years ago he was 26, young sergeant in his first few years. "Does he ever talk about Afghanistan?" I ask. Foster's confusion deepens. "Sometimes, ma'am. He did 3 tours, but he doesn't talk about it much." "Has he ever mentioned Devil's Canyon?" Foster goes absolutely still. "How did you—" "Your father was in Convoy Kane," I say. "October 15th, 2011. I remember him. Young private, couldn't have been more than 19 or 20. Kept his fire team calm when everyone else was panicking. Must have made sergeant fast after that." Foster's face has gone white. "My father was—" "You saved my father. My team saved everyone in that convoy, including your father. Which means we're the reason you exist." He just stares at me, unable to process it. "Next time you see him," I say, "tell him Ghost Angel says hello. He'll understand." I walk out before Foster can respond. The October morning air hits me like cold water, clean, sharp, real. My hands are shaking as I load the gear into my truck. 13 years of carrying silence, and in 5 minutes, General Kane ripped it all open. Told the truth. Put it out there for everyone to hear. I don't know if I feel relieved or terrified. Maybe both. I sit in my truck for a minute, hands on the steering wheel, engine running, trying to process what just happened. Then my phone rings. Unknown number, Colorado area code. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. "Lena Hartley." "Ms. Hartley." It's Kane's voice. "Do you have a minute?" "Yes, sir." "I need to explain something. Why I did what I just did." I wait. For 13 years, he says, I've been trying to find Ghost Angel. Trying to find the people who saved us. And every door I hit was locked, classified, need to know, above my clearance. Even as I got promoted, even as I gained access to higher and higher levels of intelligence, echo response was always just out of reach. It was buried deep, sir. I know, I understand why. Plausible deniability, black operations, I get it. But those two soldiers who died, Donovan and Griffith, their families deserve to know the truth. They signed ND as sir, just like I did. I know, and I've been working through channels for 3 years to get Operation Crimson Ridge declassified. I've testified before review boards, I've written statements, I've used every ounce of political capital I have. Why? Silence on the line for a moment. Because I see their faces, Kane says quietly. Every night before I sleep. 57 people in that convoy. I remember all of them. Every single one. And I know that I got to go home because 2 people I never met decided my life was worth dying for. I close my eyes. They didn't die for you specifically, sir. They died because it was the right thing to do. I know, but the result is the same. I'm alive, they're not. And their families think they died in a training accident. So what happens now? Now, Kane says, I've got enough. Your presence here wearing that patch confirming the details. That's the final piece I needed. I'm submitting my recommendation to the Pentagon Review Board next week. Operation Crimson Ridge should be declassified within 6 months. My breath catches. Sir, Rachel Donovan and Tyler Griffith will receive posthumous Purple Hearts and Silver Stars. Their families will know the truth, the full truth. And you, all of you who survived, will be recognized for what you did. 13 years of silence. And now, maybe finally, the truth. There's more, Kane says. There's a joint training operation next month, multi-branch logistics exercise. I need a senior civilian advisor, someone who actually knows how to run complex supply operations under pressure, someone who's been there. Sir, I appreciate the offer, but $20,000 for 2 weeks' work, plus per diem, plus travel. I stop talking. $20,000, that's 4 months of rent. That's breathing room. And, Kane continues, I want those 3 lieutenants in the training group, under your supervision. The ones who mocked me, especially them, they need to learn from someone real, someone who's actually done the job instead of just read about it. I think about Sullivan, Foster, Pierce, young and cocky and ignorant, but not malicious, just unformed, raw material that could be shaped into something better. I'll do it, I say. But I have one condition. Name it. When this gets declassified, when the families find out, I want to be there. I want to be the one to tell Rachel's father what really happened. Kane is quiet for a moment. That's going to be hard. I know, but I owe him the truth. I've been avoiding his calls for 2 years. The least I can do is look him in the eye and tell him his daughter was a hero. Agreed, I'll make sure you're there. Thank you, sir. Don't thank me yet, Hartley. You've still got to survive 2 weeks training 3 baby lieutenants. I almost smile. I've survived worse, sir. I know you have. That's why I'm hiring you. He hangs up. I sit there in my truck phone in my hand, trying to process everything that just happened in the last hour. 13 years of silence, broken in 5 minutes, and now the actual possibility, that Rachel and Tyler will finally get the recognition they deserve. But first I need to remember. I need to go back to that day, October 15th, 2011. I need to remember why we did what we did, what it cost, what it meant. I close my eyes and let the memory come. Afghanistan, October 2011. I was 37 years old. The heat in Afghanistan is different from anywhere else. It's not just hot, it's aggressive, malicious. The kind of heat that makes you feel like the desert is personally trying to kill you. Dry heat, they call it like that, makes it better. Like sucking air that feels like it came straight from an oven is somehow preferable to humidity. Our camp was 30 miles outside Kandahar, not a real base, just a collection of tents and generators and sandbags that served as home for echo response. 8 of us, that's all. 8 soldiers doing work that couldn't be acknowledged. Captain Elena Martinez was our commanding officer. 39 years old, career Army smart as hell and ruthless about following orders. She'd come up through military intelligence, transferred to logistics, and ended up running Echo because someone somewhere decided she could be trusted with secrets. I was her deputy, Sergeant First Class Lena Hartley, 37, 2 deployments under my belt. I'd turned down officer candidate school 3 times because I liked being an NCO, liked being close to the work, liked having my hands dirty instead of pushing papers. The rest of the team was young, energetic, good at their jobs. Sergeant James Walker, everyone called him Doc, even though he wasn't a medic. He was our communications specialist, but he'd done field medic training and kept everyone's minor injuries from becoming major problems. Best friend I had in the Army, the kind of guy who could make you laugh even when everything was falling apart. Sergeant Amanda Cole, 28, sharp mind, could coordinate supply movements across 3 time zones while half asleep. She'd worked for FedEx before enlisting and brought corporate logistics efficiency into military operations. Corporal Rachel Donovan, 23. Red hair that violated probably 6 grooming standards, but nobody cared because we weren't garrison soldiers. Engineer specialist, could fix anything. Loved Metallica so much she had lyrics written in Sharpie on her body armor. Talked constantly. Made everyone around her better just by being there. Corporal Tyler Griffith, 22, driver, new father. His daughter was 3 months old, and he showed everyone pictures so many times we all had them memorized. Quiet kid, did his job, never complained. The kind of soldier every NCO wishes they had more of. And 2 others, Corporal Ben Whitaker and Specialist Kara Hudson, good soldiers, did their jobs, part of the team. We'd been in country for 5 months when October 14th rolled around. Just another day in a long series of days. Morning briefing at 0700. Martinez had maps spread across the folding table in our command tent. Route 7, Devil's Canyon. I knew that area. Everyone in Afghanistan knew Devil's Canyon. Taliban loved it. Perfect terrain for ambushes. Listen up, Martinez said. No preamble, no pleasantries, just mission. Tomorrow morning, 0730, Convoy Kane departs Kandahar Forward Operating Base, destination classified, cargo classified, Route 7 through Devil's Canyon. I studied the map. Didn't like what I saw. That's a bad route, Captain. Not our call. Orders from Task Force Command. What's our mission? Observation only, Martinez said, tapping the map. OP on the ridge. Document enemy activity. Do not engage under any circumstances. Rachel's hand shot up. Captain, if the convoy gets hit. Air support handles it. We observe and report. That's it. Clear. A chorus of reluctant yes ma'am echoed through the tent. But I saw the looks being exchanged. Doc caught my eye. He knew. We all knew. This was a bait operation. Someone wanted to see if Taliban would hit the convoy. Wanted to identify enemy positions. Wanted intelligence. And they were willing to risk 57 American lives to get it. After the briefing, I pulled Martinez aside. Captain, this feels wrong. Doesn't matter how it feels, Hartley. We have orders. Convoy's gonna get hit. Canyon's a kill box. If we're just observing, then we observe. That's it. I don't like it either, but it's not our call to make. And if things go bad, she looked at me for a long moment. Then you follow orders, same as always. But there was something in her eyes, a question, or maybe permission. I couldn't tell. That night, I couldn't sleep. Lay in my rack, staring at the canvas ceiling of my tent, listening to the generators humming, the distant sound of helicopters, the small sounds of a forward operating base trying to rest before another day of war. Around 0200, I gave up on sleep, grabbed my tablet and pulled up the intelligence reports. Taliban activity around Devil's Canyon had spiked 300% in the last 48 hours. Movement indicators suggested 40 to 50 combatants. IED emplacements confirmed by signals intelligence. This wasn't an opportunistic ambush. This was a planned kill zone. and Convoy Kane was driving straight into it. I walked over to Doc's tent, found him awake cleaning his rifle by headlamp. "Can't sleep either?" he asked. "No." "Thinking about tomorrow?" "Yeah." He set down the rifle. "Lena, hypothetically, if you had to choose between following orders and saving lives, which would you pick?" "Depends whose lives." "Americans, 57 of them, kids mostly. First deployments for a lot of them." I sat down on his footlocker. "You asking me to make a hypothetical choice, Doc? Or are you asking what I'm going to do tomorrow?" "Both, I guess." "What would you do?" He thought about it. 30 seconds of silence. "Then I'd save them. Fuck the orders. Even if it ended your career. Career doesn't mean anything if I can't look at myself in the mirror. Martinez will court-martial us. Maybe, but those 57 soldiers will go home alive. That counts for something." I looked at him. Really looked at him. "If it comes to that, if things go sideways tomorrow, are you with me?" "Always, Sarge, always." We didn't say anything else. Didn't need to. We both knew what was coming, knew the choice we'd have to make, and we'd already made it. October 15th, 05:30. We loaded gear and moved out. The ridge overlooking Devil's Canyon was 2 miles from camp. We humped it in darkness, 8 soldiers moving through terrain that could hide 1,000 threats. Reached the observation post by 0600. Set up positions. Good sight lines down into the canyon. Clear view of Route 7. And then we waited. Through binoculars, I could see Taliban setting up, IEDs being placed, fighting positions being prepared, RPG teams moving to high ground, textbook ambush, professional, coordinated. I counted 43 combatants. Rachel counted 44. Close enough. Way too many for a convoy to fight through without support. 0700. Martinez reported to Task Force Command. Echo 2 in position, enemy count 40 plus. IED placements confirmed. Convoy will be engaged. Command response. Copy Echo 2, maintain observation, do not compromise position. Do not compromise position. Military speak for watch them die and don't do anything about it. 0730. Convoy Kane departed Kandahar FOB. 12 vehicles, 57 personnel, rolling toward Devil's Canyon at 40 miles per hour. Rachel was beside me on the ridge. "Sarge," she whispered, "we're really just gonna watch." "That's the order. That's fucked up." "Yeah, it is." 0743. Lead vehicle entered the canyon. Through my scope, I could see the convoy commander, young lieutenant, maybe 25, scanning the ridges with binoculars, nervous. He knew something was wrong, could feel it, but he had orders too. 0744. The world exploded. IED under the lead, Humvee. The vehicle lifted 3 feet off the ground, flipped sideways, started burning. I saw bodies thrown from the wreckage, some moving, some not. Then the small arms fire started, from every direction, 3 sides of the canyon lighting up with muzzle flashes, tracer rounds painting lines of death through the morning air. The convoy tried to return fire, but they were pinned, no cover, vehicles bunched up. Taliban had them zeroed from prepared positions. I heard the radio chatter, panicked voices calling for air support, command responding 20 minutes out, hold position 20 minutes, they'd all be dead in 5. I looked at Martinez. She was watching through her binoculars, face expressionless, but I saw her hand trembling. "Captain," I said quietly. "No." "They're going to die." "Not our mission, Hartley." Down in the canyon I could see soldiers trying to pull wounded to cover. Young kids, terrified, bleeding, dying. I stood up, grabbed my rifle. "Hartley!" Martinez's voice was sharp. "Stand down. That's a direct order." I looked at Doc, at Rachel, at Tyler, at Amanda, at Ben, at Kara. "Anyone coming with me?" Doc stood immediately. "I'm in." Rachel. "Fuck this. I'm in." Tyler. "My daughter deserves a father who did the right thing. I'm in." One by one, all 7 of them stood. Martinez's face went pale. "Lena, you know what this means. You're ending our careers, ending our unit, ending everything." I know, Captain, but I'm not ending their lives. I switched my radio to Convoy Kane's frequency, keyed the mic. Convoy Kane, this is Ghost Angel. We're coming in from your 6 o'clock. Do not fire on our position. Young Lieutenant's voice came back, panicked, confused. Who the hell is Ghost Angel? We have no support scheduled. Not air support, Lieutenant, ground element. 4 personnel, just stay alive. We're coming for you. I looked at Martinez one last time, waiting for her to stop us, to report us, to do something. Instead, she picked up her radio. Ghost Angel, this is Echo 2. I'll coordinate from OP, but this is your operation, your call, your responsibility. There were tears in her eyes. Understood, Echo 2, I said. Then to my team, let's move, and God help us all. We went down that ridge like the devil himself was chasing us, and maybe he was. 17 minutes, that's how long the firefight would last. 17 minutes that would cost Rachel and Tyler their lives. 17 minutes that would save 57 Americans. 17 minutes that would bury Echo Response for 13 years. But as we charged down that ridge toward the kill zone, none of us knew the price yet. We only knew one thing: those soldiers in the canyon were going to live, even if we had to die to make it happen. The firefight lasted 17 minutes. 17 minutes that felt like 17 hours. 17 minutes that changed everything. We split into 2 elements. I took Doc Rachel and Tyler down the left ravine. Martinez coordinated Amanda, Ben, and Kara on a flanking route to the right. The plan was simple: create enough chaos that the convoy could break contact and reach defensible ground. Simple doesn't mean easy. The terrain was broken rock and scattered brush. No real cover. Just angles and movement, and hoping the Taliban were too focused on the convoy to notice us coming in from their flank. We moved fast, combat crouch, weapons ready, every sense screaming that this was insane. Rachel was behind me. I could hear her breathing. Quick, controlled, scared, but functional. That's all you can ask for in combat: be scared, but keep moving anyway. Sarge, she whispered. I count 12 Taliban at 10 o'clock RPG team. I see them. Doc, when I give the word, lay suppression on that position. Rachel, you and Tyler move to that outcrop and set up a firing position. We're going to make them think we're a whole platoon. Roger that. We reached our jump-off point. A small depression behind a cluster of boulders. Good sightlines to the Taliban positions. Bad sightlines for them to see us. For about 30 seconds. I keyed the radio. Echo 2 Ghost Lead, in position. Martinez's voice came back steady. Professional. Like we were running a training exercise instead of violating every rule in the book. Copy, Ghost Lead. Element 2 is in position. Execute on your mark. I took 3 deep breaths, looked at Doc, at Rachel, at Tyler, young faces, trusting me to make the right call, trusting me with their lives. God, they were so young. Execute, I said. Doc opened up with his M4, 3-round bursts, controlled, accurate. Taliban position lit up with impacts. They scattered, confused, trying to figure out where the fire was coming from. Rachel and Tyler moved to the outcrop, started engaging targets. Tyler had the squad automatic weapon, the SAW, and he used it like a conductor uses a baton, sweeping fire across enemy positions, not trying to hit anyone specifically, just making them keep their heads down. On the right flank, I heard Amanda's element open up. More fire, more chaos. Taliban were taking fire from 2 directions now. Their nice, clean ambush was falling apart. In the canyon, the convoy started moving. Young Lieutenant Kane, though I didn't know his name then, was shouting orders, getting his people organized, using our distraction to evacuate the wounded. For 5 minutes, it worked perfectly. We were winning, changing the equation, making it possible. Then the Taliban adjusted. They were professionals, not some scattered insurgents. These guys had training, discipline, and they'd figured out we were a small element, 4 or 5 guns making a lot of noise. Not a real threat if they could isolate us. I saw the RPG team reposition, saw them sighting on Rachel's outcrop, saw the gunner settle in and take aim. Rachel, move! She looked up, saw the RPG, started to move, too slow. The rocket hit 3 feet from her position. The explosion was enormous, lifted her off the ground, threw her backwards into the rocks. I was running before I knew I was moving. Doc was yelling something. Tyler was laying down, covering fire. Everything was noise and smoke and the taste of cordite. I reached Rachel. She was on her back, eyes open, staring at the sky, blood everywhere, too much blood. "Sarge," she whispered. Her voice was wet, bubbling, lung hit. Maybe both lungs. Bad. Real bad. "I got you, Rachel. Doc's coming. We're going to get you out of here." Did we save them?" I looked down at the canyon. The convoy was moving, evacuating, getting clear. 57 Americans who were alive because of what we'd done. "Yes," I choked out. "You saved them, Rachel. All of them." She smiled, blood on her teeth. "Good. That's good. Rachel, stay with me. Doc's almost here. We're gonna—" "Tell my dad," she whispered. "Tell him it wasn't an accident. Tell him I did something that mattered." "You can tell him yourself. Just hang on." But I could see it in her eyes, the light fading, the focus going distant. "Promise me," she said. "Promise you'll tell him." "I promise." She took one more breath, let it out slow, and then she was gone. 23 years old, red hair and Metallica patches and a laugh that could light up a room. Gone. Doc reached me, took one look at Rachel, checked for pulse anyway, because that's what you do, shook his head. "Lena, we have to move. They're repositioning." "I'm not leaving her. We'll come back, but right now we have to move or we're all dead." He was right. I knew he was right, but every instinct screamed at me to stay, to not leave her there alone. Tyler appeared beside us. His face was streaked with tears and dirt. "Sarge, we got company. 12 Taliban moving on our position." I looked down at Rachel one more time, closed her eyes, stood up. "Fall back to secondary position. Go. Now." We moved, fighting retreat, laying fire and moving, standard break contact drill. But nothing about this was standard. I could hear Martinez on the radio coordinating with Amanda's element. They were in trouble too, taking heavy fire. Ben Whitaker was hit, leg wound, still mobile but slowing them down. The convoy had broken contact, was moving toward the extraction point. Air support was inbound, 3 minutes out. We just had to survive 3 more minutes. Tyler was behind me, covering our movement. The saw chattering away, controlled bursts, professional. His daughter's face must have been running through his mind the whole time, thinking about getting home to her. Then I heard the whoosh, that distinctive sound of an RPG launching. The sound that means someone's about to have a very bad day. I turned, saw the smoke trail, saw where it was headed. Tyler. He saw it too, started to move. But he was carrying the saw and 30 pounds of ammunition, and you can't move fast with that kind of load. The RPG hit his position dead center. The vehicle he'd been using for cover turned into shrapnel. The explosion lifted Tyler off his feet, threw him 20 feet. When I reached him, there wasn't enough left to save. 22 years old, father of a 3-month-old daughter he'd never see grow up, gone. Doc grabbed my arm. Lena, we have to go. Air support is 30 seconds out. If we're not clear, they'll hit us too." I looked at Tyler's body, at what was left of it, at the picture of his daughter that had fallen from his pocket. Little girl in a pink dress, smiling, never going to know her father. "God damn it," I whispered. "God damn it." Doc pulled me to my feet. We ran. Air support came in like the wrath of God. Apache helicopters, 30mm chain guns, Hellfire missiles. The Taliban positions disappeared in explosions and dust. By the time it was over, we'd made it back to the observation post. Martinez was there. Amanda's element had made it too. Ben was wounded but alive. Kara was shaken but okay. But Rachel and Tyler were gone. Martinez looked at me. Her face was expressionless, but I saw her hands shaking as she keyed the radio. "Task Force Command, this is Echo 2. Mission complete. Convoy Kane is clear. Enemy positions neutralized. 2 KIA from Echo response requesting medevac for remains." Command came back cold, professional. "Echo 2 negative on medevac. Mission is classified. KIA will be listed as training accident casualties. Sanitize the site and return to base. Acknowledge. Martinez's voice shook. I say again, 2 KIA require. Echo 2, you are not authorized for official medevac. Sanitize site, return to base. That is a direct order. Acknowledge. Martinez looked at me, at Doc, at the rest of the team. We were all staring at the radio like it was a snake. Acknowledged, she finally said. We brought Rachel and Tyler back ourselves, carried their bodies down that ridge in the dark. No honor guard, no ceremony, just 7 soldiers carrying 2 of their own because command said they didn't officially exist. I'll never forget that walk. 2 miles through Afghanistan night, Rachel's blood soaking through my uniform, Tyler's dog tags in my pocket, the weight of their sacrifice heavy on my shoulders. When we got back to camp, they were loaded into body bags and shipped out before dawn. No ceremony, no goodbye, just gone. 3 days later, we were pulled into a classified debriefing facility. Concrete room, 2 CIA officers in suits. No names, no pleasantries. You violated direct orders, the first one said. Compromised a 6-month intelligence operation. Cost the United States government $4.2 million in surveillance assets. Do you understand the severity of what you've done? I leaned forward in my chair. We saved 57 American soldiers. You exposed covert operational protocol. Taliban now knows we conduct surveillance from that ridge network, knows we have assets in the area. They've already adjusted their operational patterns. We've lost intelligence capability that took 2 years to develop. Good, I said. Maybe they'll stop ambushing convoys. The second officer slammed his hand on the table. This isn't a joke, Sergeant Hartley. You and your team are facing courts-martial for violating the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Articles 92 and 94, failure to obey orders and mutiny. Maximum penalty is death. That got everyone's attention. Martinez spoke up. Death penalty for saving American lives. For compromising classified operations, the first officer said. For violating direct orders during wartime. For exposing intelligence methods. Take your pick. Doc laughed. Actually laughed. So we should have watched 57 Americans die. That was the better option. That was your mission. Then the mission was fucked, Doc said. Sir. The room went very quiet. The first officer leaned back in his chair, studied us, calculating. Here's what's going to happen, he finally said. Echo Response is disbanded effective immediately. The unit never officially existed, so it won't officially end. All records are being classified. Top secret SCI. Minimum classification period 50 years. He pulled out a stack of papers. You will all sign non-disclosure agreements. You will never speak about Echo Response, never speak about Operation Crimson Ridge, never speak about what happened on October 15th, not to family, not to friends, not to other soldiers, not to anyone. And if we refuse, I asked, then you face courts-martial. We'll charge you with everything we can think of. You'll spend the next 20 years in Leavenworth, and Rachel Donovan and Tyler Griffith will still be listed as training accident casualties. Their families will never know the truth. Martinez stood up. That's not acceptable. Those 2 soldiers deserve recognition. Their families will receive full death benefits, the officer interrupted. Education funds for Griffith's daughter, military funeral with honors, just no mention of combat, no Purple Hearts, no truth. That's not right, Amanda said quietly. That's the deal. Take it or face prosecution. I looked at my team. Doc, Amanda, Ben, Kara. They were all looking at me, waiting for me to make the call. What about Donovan and Griffith? I asked. What do their families get told? Training accident. Vehicle rollover during a convoy exercise. Quick, painless. They didn't suffer. All lies. Rachel died screaming. Tyler was blown apart. But their families would never know. I thought about Thomas Donovan, Rachel's father. How would he react to being told his daughter died in a training accident? How would Tyler's wife explain to their daughter why Daddy wasn't coming home? I want one thing, I said. The officers waited. I want to keep my uniform and my patch, the Echo Response patch. They looked at each other, confused. Why so? The first officer asked. Because someday this is going to be declassified. Someday the truth is going to come out. And when it does, I want proof that I was there, that we existed, that what we did mattered. The second officer shrugged. Fine, keep your costume, won't change anything. You'd be surprised, I said. We all signed. What choice did we have, prison or silence? And in prison, we couldn't help Rachel and Tyler's families, couldn't keep their memory alive, couldn't wait for the day when the truth finally came out. So we signed, and Echo Response disappeared from official records like it never existed. But I added one thing to my NDA, a single clause in tiny handwriting at the bottom of the last page. This non-disclosure agreement is void upon official declassification of Operation Crimson Ridge by the Department of Defense or other authorized agency. The officer barely glanced at it, probably thought declassification would never happen, that the truth would stay buried forever. He was wrong. Martinez resigned her commission 6 weeks later. Couldn't live with herself for giving the original order to observe only. Couldn't forgive herself for Rachel and Tyler's deaths, even though we'd all made the choice together. I saw her one more time before she left the Army. We met at a coffee shop off base, neutral ground, civilian clothes. I'm sorry, Lena, she said, for putting you in that position, for making you choose between orders and conscience. You didn't make me choose captain, I chose. We all chose. I should have chosen first, should have told command to shove their observation mission, should have protected my team. You did protect us. You coordinated from the OP, kept us alive. We wouldn't have made it without you. She shook her head. Rachel and Tyler didn't make it. No, they didn't. But 57 other people did, and that has to count for something. Does it? I didn't have an answer for that, still don't. Is 2 lives worth 57? The math says yes. The heart says there shouldn't be a choice. Martinez left. I never saw her again. Heard through the grapevine that she became a teacher. High school history. Teaching kids about wars from textbooks. Wars that were clean and simple and had clear good guys and bad guys. Not like the real thing. The rest of Echo Response scattered. Doc went to work for a defense contractor. Amanda got a job with the VA. Ben and Kara stayed in the Army, but transferred to different units. We all agreed not to stay in touch. Too risky, too easy to slip up and violate the NDA. I got out 8 months later. Honorable discharge, full benefits. A resume that had huge gaps in it because half my deployments were classified. I moved to Denver because it was far from anything military. Got a job as a civilian logistics contractor. Worked for defense companies doing the same work I'd done in the Army, but with better pay and worse purpose. And I waited. Waited for the day when the truth could be told, when Rachel and Tyler could be recognized, when their families could know. 13 years. That's how long I waited. 13 years of Thomas Donovan's voicemails asking for the truth I couldn't give him. 13 years of seeing Tyler's daughter's face in my dreams. 13 years of wearing a jacket with a patch that nobody recognized and couldn't ask about. Until today. Until General Kane walked into that supply depot and told the truth I'd been forbidden to speak. I'm sitting in my truck in the Fort Carson parking lot, phone in my hand, tears on my face that I didn't realize were falling. The weight of 13 years of silence lifting just enough to breathe. My phone rings again. Kane's number. Hartley. Lena, it's Kane. Are you okay? I don't know, sir. Are you supposed to be okay after something like this? I don't think so. Listen, I need you to come back inside. There's someone who wants to meet you. Sir, just come back. Building 7, O'Connor's office. He hangs up before I can ask who. I wipe my face, check the mirror, look like hell, but that's probably appropriate. Grab my gear and walk back toward the depot. The morning has warmed up, October sun breaking through clouds, soldiers moving around the base doing soldier things, normal military Monday masquerading as Saturday. Inside the depot, the energy has completely changed. People look at me differently now, not with mockery, not with indifference, with something like respect, maybe even awe. Private Davis sees me and snaps to attention, actually salutes even though I'm in civilian clothes. Ma'am, the master sergeant is waiting for you. This way. He leads me through the depot to the back offices. Knocks on O'Connor's door. Come in, O'Connor's voice. Davis opens the door. I step inside. O'Connor is there. Kane is there. And sitting in a chair against the wall is a man I recognize even though I've only seen him once. Thomas Donovan, Rachel's father. He's older than I remember. Must be 68 now. Gray hair, weathered face, eyes that have cried too many tears. He's wearing a veteran's ball cap, Marine Corps, Vietnam era. He stands when he sees me, just stares. Mr. Donovan, I manage. You're the one, he says, his voice is shaking. You're the one who kept calling. Who knew my Rachel? I look at Kane. He gives me a small nod. Permission, or maybe encouragement. Yes, sir, I say. I knew Rachel. I served with her. The Army said training accident, vehicle rollover. They said she died instantly, didn't suffer. Sir, But you kept calling me, listening to my voicemail, hanging up, like you wanted to tell me something but couldn't. He takes a step toward me. General Kane called me this morning, told me to come here, told me I was finally going to learn the truth about how my daughter died. The room is very quiet. O'Connor has stepped outside. Kane is standing by the window, giving us space. Mr. Donovan, your daughter was one of the best soldiers I ever served with. Was she really in this Echo Response Unit, this classified unit that didn't exist? Yes, sir. She was our engineer, could fix anything, keep anything running. We relied on her constantly. And she died in combat, not a training accident. Yes, sir. October 15th, 2011. Afghanistan. Operation Crimson Ridge. He sits down heavily, like his legs won't hold him anymore. Tell me, he says. Please, I've waited 13 years. Just tell me the truth. So I do. I tell him everything. The mission, the orders to observe only, the convoy in the kill zone, our decision to intervene, Rachel's courage, her sacrifice. She was covering the convoy evacuation, I say, providing suppression fire so wounded soldiers could be moved to safety. An RPG hit her position. It was quick, sir, but she knew. Before she died, she knew we'd saved them. 57 Americans went home because of what she did. Thomas Donovan is crying, silently, tears streaming down his face. She asked me to tell you something, I continue. Her last words, she said, tell my dad it wasn't an accident. Tell him I did something that mattered. He breaks then, sobs. The kind of crying that comes from 13 years of grief mixed with pride, mixed with anger at being lied to. I kneel down in front of him. Mr. Donovan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I couldn't tell you sooner. The NDA. I know, he chokes out. General Kane explained, you would have gone to prison. I should have told you anyway. You deserved the truth. He looks at me with those devastated eyes. Why did she do it? Why did she disobey orders? Because 57 Americans were about to die, and she decided their lives were worth risking her own for. She made that choice. We all did, but she paid the price. Was she scared? The question hits me hard. Was Rachel scared? Of course she was. We all were. Yes, sir, she was terrified, but she moved anyway. That's what courage is, not the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite it. He nods slowly. She was always like that, even as a kid, scared of the dark, but wouldn't let it stop her from exploring. Scared of heights, but climbed every tree anyway. She talked about you, I say. Showed us pictures, told stories. She was proud of you. Proud to be a Marine's daughter. I was proud of her too, he whispers, but I never got to tell her. She deployed so fast, and then she was gone, and they told me it was an accident, something meaningless, and I thought she died for nothing. No, sir, she died a hero, saved 57 lives. And if General Kane's declassification goes through, she's going to get the recognition she deserves. Purple Heart, Silver Star, full honors. He looks up at Kane. Is that true, General? Kane steps forward. Yes, sir. I've submitted my recommendation to the Pentagon Review Board. Based on Sergeant Hartley's testimony and the evidence I've compiled, Operation Crimson Ridge should be declassified within 6 months. Your daughter will receive full posthumous honors. And Tyler Griffith, I ask? Him too, both of them. The truth is coming out, Lena. Finally. Thomas Donovan stands up, walks over to me. For a moment, I think he's going to hit me. Blame me for his daughter's death. For 13 years of lies. Instead, he hugs me. Tight. The way a father hugs a daughter. Thank you, he whispers. Thank you for trying to save her. Thank you for carrying this burden for 13 years. Thank you for keeping your promise. I hug him back, let myself cry. For the first time in 13 years, I let myself really cry for Rachel, for Tyler, for all of it. When we finally separate, Kane is standing there with a box of tissues, hands them over without comment. Mr. Donovan, Kane says, I have something for you. He pulls out a folder, opens it. Inside is a photo, the convoy in Devil's Canyon, taken from the observation post. You can barely make out echo response on the ridge, 4 small figures against the sky. This was taken during the operation, Kane says, classified for 13 years. But I'm declassifying it now under my authority. This is proof your daughter was there, that she did what Sergeant Hartley says she did. He hands the photo to Thomas. She saved my life, sir, and the lives of 56 other soldiers, including one young private named Brennan Foster, who went on to become a command sergeant major, who has a son, who has a life, because of Rachel. Thomas stares at the photo, touches it like it might disappear. Can I keep this? It's yours, sir. We sit there for a while, the 3 of us, not talking, just being present with the weight of it all. Finally, Thomas stands. I should go. My wife, Margaret, doesn't know I'm here. She's going to want to hear this. Mr. Donovan, I say, when the declassification happens, when there's a ceremony, I want to be there, want to tell Rachel's story, if that's okay with you. I'd like that, he says, and she'd like that too. He shakes my hand, shakes Kane's hand, walks out with his daughter's photo clutched like a treasure. After he's gone, I turn to Kane. How did you find him? I've been in contact with the families for 2 years, preparing them, telling them that the truth might come out. They deserve to be ready. Tyler Griffith's wife, Margaret, she lives in North Carolina now, works as a nurse. Her daughter Emma is 13, smart kid, looks just like Tyler. Does she know? Margaret? Yes, I called her this morning. She's flying out next week, wants to meet you. My chest tightens. I don't know if I can do that. You can and you will, because Tyler asked you to take care of his family if anything happened. Remember, I do remember, the day before the mission, Tyler pulling me aside, showing me the address where his wife and daughter lived. Just in case, Sarge, if something happens, make sure they know I love them. I'd promised. And then I'd broken that promise for 13 years because the NDA wouldn't let me keep it. Okay, I say. I'll meet them. Kane nods. There's one more thing. The training operation next month. I need your answer. $20,000 for 2 weeks. You in? I think about it. $20,000 security for months. A chance to teach young officers what real leadership looks like. A chance to do something that matters again. I'm in, but I still want those 3 lieutenants in my training group. Already done. I told them this morning. They're terrified of you. Good. Fear is a teaching tool. Kane laughs. You sound like my old drill sergeant. I'll take that as a compliment, sir. It was meant as one. We shake hands. I walk out of the office feeling lighter than I have in years. The weight hasn't disappeared. Rachel and Tyler are still gone. 13 years of silence still happened. But the burden is shared now. The truth is coming out, and that matters. In the main depot, the 3 lieutenants are waiting. Sullivan, Foster, and Pierce. They snap to attention when they see me. Ma'am, Sullivan says, we wanted to apologize again. More formally. You already apologized, Lieutenant. Yes, ma'am, but we wanted you to know we mean it. And we wanted to ask. General Kane said you're running the training operation next month, and that we're assigned to your group. That's correct. We'll work hard, ma'am. We'll learn. We won't let you down. I study them. Young faces, humbled, ready to be taught. You already let me down once today, Lieutenant Sullivan, by making assumptions, by judging without knowledge, by mocking what you didn't understand. Yes, ma'am. But everyone gets one mistake. What matters is what you do after, how you learn, how you grow. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. Good, then here's your first lesson. Real leadership isn't about rank. It's not about the bars on your collar or the degree on your wall. It's about making hard choices when no one is watching. It's about putting your soldiers' lives before your career. It's about being willing to sacrifice everything for what's right. I pause. Make sure they're listening. Rachel Donovan was 23 years old, enlisted soldier, no college degree, no family connections, no political aspirations. But she was a better leader than most officers I've served with. Know why? They shake their heads. Because when it mattered, she chose people over protocol. She chose lives over orders, and she paid for it with everything she had. That's leadership. That's what I'm going to teach you. Foster speaks up. Ma'am, I called my father, told him about meeting you. He cried, first time I've ever seen him cry. He said to tell Ghost Angel that he thinks about that day every morning and that he's lived a good life because of what you did. My throat tightens. Tell him I'm glad. Tell him that's all we wanted, for the people we saved to live good lives. Yes, ma'am, I will. Pierce finally speaks. Ma'am, can I ask you something? Go ahead, Lieutenant. How do you live with it? Losing people under your command? How do you keep going? It's a good question, an honest question, the kind that deserves an honest answer. You don't get over it, I say. You carry it every day. Rachel and Tyler are with me every morning when I wake up. Every night before I sleep, they're part of me now, part of who I am. Does it get easier? No, but you get stronger. You learn to carry the weight, and you honor them by living the kind of life they died to protect, by being the kind of leader they deserve to have, by making sure their sacrifice meant something. The three of them nod, absorbing it. Now get out of here, I say. I'll see you next month, and come prepared to work. I don't do easy training. Yes, ma'am. They leave, and I'm alone in the depot again, full circle from where I started this morning. Private Davis approaches nervously. Ma'am, is there anything else you need? No, Private, I'm all set. Thank you for your help. Ma'am, can I just say, what you did, what your team did, that's why I joined the Army, to be part of something that matters, to serve with people like you. He's so young, maybe 19. Fresh out of basic training, full of idealism and hope and the belief that war is noble. I don't want to crush that, but I need him to understand. Private Davis war isn't what you think it is. It's not heroic, it's not glorious, it's confusing and terrible, and the best you can hope for is making the right choice in an impossible situation. Yes, ma'am, but you made the right choice. Did I? 2 of my soldiers died. 2 families got torn apart. 13 years of lying to people who deserved the truth. Was that the right choice? He thinks about it. You saved 57 people, ma'am. That has to count for something. It does, but it costs too, remember that. When you're out there and you have to make hard choices, everything costs something. Make sure you're willing to pay the price. I will, ma'am. I walk out into the Colorado sunshine. Noon now. The day has burned away the morning chill. I load my gear into the truck and just sit there for a minute. Engine running, heat blasting, trying to process everything that happened. My phone buzzes. Text message from an unknown number. Ms. Hartley, this is Margaret Griffith, Tyler's wife. General Kane gave me your number. I'm coming to Colorado next week. Can we meet? I'd like to talk about Tyler. And I'd like Emma to meet you, please. I stare at the message for a long time. Emma, Tyler's daughter. She'd be 13 now, same age Rachel was when she decided to join the Army someday. I type back, yes, I'd like that very much. And I have stories to tell you about Tyler. Good stories, the kind that will make you proud. Send. 3 dots appear. She's typing. Thank you. He talked about you. In his letters, said you were the best NCO he'd ever served with. Said if anything happened to him, you'd take care of us. The guilt hits me like a freight train. 13 years. 13 years I could have been taking care of them. being part of Emma's life, making sure she knew her father. But the NDA, the threat of prison, the weight of classified operations. I type, "I'm sorry I couldn't reach out sooner. I wanted to, every day, but I wasn't allowed." "I understand. General Kane explained everything. It's okay. We're just glad the truth is finally coming out." Me too. I drive home in a daze. Autopilot. The truck knows the route even if my brain is somewhere else. My apartment feels different when I walk in. Same 700 square feet, same minimalist furniture, same precise organization. But it feels less like a prison now. Less like a place I'm hiding. More like a place I can finally start living. I take off the echo response jacket, look at it for a long moment. The faded fabric, the ghost patch, the weight of 13 years of silence woven into every thread. I hang it in the closet, carefully, respectfully, but not like I'm putting away something I'll never use again, just like I'm giving it a rest, until it's needed again. On my desk is a framed photo, the only one I kept. Echo response, all 8 of us, taken a week before Operation Crimson Ridge. We're in front of our camp, dusty, tired, but smiling, united. Captain Martinez in the center, me on her left, Doc on her right, Rachel making bunny ears behind Tyler's head, Amanda and Ben arm in arm, Kara making a face at the camera. 8 people who believed in something, who made a choice, who paid the price. 3 of us are still alive. Maybe it's time we connected again. Maybe it's time to stop hiding. I pick up my phone, search through old contacts, find Doc's number. We haven't spoken in 13 years. He might not even have the same number. I type, "Doc, it's Lena. Kane is declassifying Crimson Ridge. The truth is coming out. Rachel and Tyler are getting their honors. We can finally talk about it. Call me when you get this." Send. 5 minutes later, my phone rings. "Lena, is that really you?" Doc's voice. Older, rougher, but unmistakably him. "Yeah, Doc, it's me. I can't believe I've been watching the news, hoping, waiting. Is it really happening?" "It's really happening. 6 months, Pentagon Review Board, Kane's testimony, my testimony, it's all coming together." Silence on the line, then Rachel and Tyler. Purple hearts, silver stars, full military honors. Their families will know the truth. I hear him crying. Doc, who held it together through the worst firefights, who never broke under pressure, crying. "We did it," he whispers. "We kept the faith, we waited, and we did it." "We did! How are you, Doc? Where are you?" "Virginia, working cybersecurity for a defense contractor. It's boring as hell, but it pays well. You?" "Denver, logistics consulting, living alone, waiting for something I didn't know was coming. You should come visit, or I'll come there. We should see each other after all this time. I'd like that. Amanda too, and Ben and Kara. We should all get together, before the ceremony, before everything becomes official, just us, the survivors. A reunion. Yeah, an echo response reunion, first time in 13 years. I think about it, seeing them all again, facing the memories together instead of alone. Okay, let's do it. Denver. My place is small, but we can make it work. I'll reach out to the others, set something up, maybe next month. Next month is good. I've got a training operation to run, but we can work around it. We talk for another hour, catching up, filling in 13 years of gaps. It feels like no time has passed and like a lifetime has passed simultaneously. When we finally hang up, I realize I'm smiling, actually smiling, for the first time in longer than I can remember. The sun is setting over Denver. The mountains are turning purple in the distance. My apartment is quiet but not empty anymore, not hollow. I walk to the closet, take out the echo response jacket one more time, put it on, look at myself in the mirror, 52 years old, gray hair, scars visible and invisible, 13 years of silence written in the lines of my face, but also Sergeant First Class Lena Hartley. Echo response, the woman who saved 57 lives, the woman who kept faith with the fallen, the woman who waited 13 years for the truth to come out. And now it's coming, the recognition, the honors, the truth. Rachel and Tyler's families will finally know. The soldiers we saved will finally understand. And I can finally tell Thomas Donovan that his daughter was a hero. I take off the jacket, hang it back in the closet, but this time I leave the closet door open. No more hiding, no more shadows. The ghost patch has become real again, and so have I. 6 months later, Arlington National Cemetery, Section 60, where the fallen from Iraq and Afghanistan rest. It's a cold February morning, sky overcast, threatening snow but holding off. Maybe the weather itself is paying respect. I'm standing in my dress uniform, real uniform this time. Not the faded field jacket, but the Class A's I haven't worn in years. It took 3 tries to get the ribbons right. Kept putting them on and taking them off. Not sure I deserved to wear them. But Doc insisted. You earned those, Lena. Wear them with pride. So I did. The ceremony is small, private, just families and the soldiers from Convoy Kane. 57 of them came. Some traveled from across the country. Some drove from nearby. All of them came to pay respect to 2 soldiers they never met, but owe everything to. 2 headstones, fresh flowers, military honor guard standing ready, Rachel Donovan, Tyler Griffith, finally home, finally honored. General Kane stands at the podium, reading the citations. The Purple Heart is awarded to Corporal Rachel Donovan for wounds received in action against an enemy of the United States on October 15, 2011 in Kandahar Province, Afghanistan. Corporal Donovan displayed exceptional courage under fire, providing covering fire that enabled the evacuation of 57 American personnel. Her actions exemplify the highest traditions of military service. Thomas Donovan accepts the medal, his wife Margaret beside him, both crying, but proud, finally proud. The Silver Star is awarded to Corporal Rachel Donovan for gallantry in action. Corporal Donovan, serving with the 519 Echo Response Group, distinguished herself by heroic action while engaging an armed enemy force. Her exceptional valor and dedication to her fellow soldiers resulted in the successful rescue of a surrounded convoy. Her selfless service reflects great credit upon herself, her unit, and the United States Army. The crowd applauds, military sharp, respectful. Then Tyler's citations, same honors, same words, same truth finally told. Margaret Griffith accepts the medals, Emma beside her, 13 years old, tall, smart, looks just like her father. After the ceremony, people gather, quiet conversations, soldiers introducing themselves to the families, telling them what Rachel and Tyler's sacrifice meant. Emma approaches me shyly. Ms. Hartley, call me Lena, sweetie. My mom said you knew my dad, that you served together. I did. Your dad was one of the best soldiers I ever knew. Can you tell me about him? Mom has stories, but she said you were there when he died. I kneel down so we're eye level. This brave girl who grew up without a father, who deserves to know the truth. Your dad talked about you constantly, showed everyone your pictures, told everyone how smart you were, how much he loved you, how he couldn't wait to get home and watch you grow up. Did he know he was going to die? The hard questions, the ones that matter. No, none of us did. We thought we'd all make it home. But when things went bad, your dad didn't hesitate. He put himself between the enemy and the soldiers we were trying to save. He bought them time, bought them life, and he did it without thinking twice because that's who he was. Was he scared? Probably. I was scared. We all were. But being scared doesn't mean you're not brave. Brave means doing what needs to be done even when you're terrified. She nods, processing. Do you think he'd be proud of me? My heart breaks. Emma, your father would be so proud of you he wouldn't be able to stand it. You're smart and kind and asking hard questions and growing up into an amazing person. That's everything he wanted for you. She hugs me. This girl I've never met. This girl who's Tyler's legacy. His daughter who will never know her father but carries his courage in her DNA. Thank you, she whispers, for trying to save him, for remembering him. Always, I say. Always. The families leave, the soldiers leave. Finally, it's just me and Doc and Amanda and Ben and Kara, the 5 survivors of Echo Response, Together for the first time in 13 years. We stand in front of Rachel and Tyler's headstones. Not saying anything, just being present. Finally, Doc speaks. We did it. We kept the promise. They're honored now. Took long enough, Amanda says, but there's no bitterness, just statement of fact. 13 years, Ben says. 13 years of waiting, but worth it. Is it, I ask? Is any amount of honor worth what their families went through, the lies, the grief? No, Kara says quietly. But it's what we've got, and it's better than nothing. She's right. It's not perfect. It's not enough. But it's what we can give. We salute, military sharp, hold it for 10 seconds, then drop. Echo response, I say. Mission complete. Roger that, Doc says, mission complete. We walk away together. 5 soldiers who share a secret that isn't secret anymore. 5 people who paid the price for doing the right thing. 5 survivors carrying the weight for the 2 who fell. The snow starts falling as we reach the parking lot. Soft, gentle, covering everything in white, like a fresh start, like a clean page. I get in my truck. Doc rides shotgun, the others in their own vehicles behind us. Where to? Doc asks. Somewhere we can talk, I say. Somewhere we can remember. Somewhere we can finally let it go. Oh no. Can we ever let it go? I think about that. About Rachel's laugh. About Tyler's pictures of Emma. About the weight I've carried for 13 years. No, I say finally. But we can share it. And that's enough. We drive into the snow. 5 soldiers heading toward whatever comes next. The ghost patch isn't a ghost anymore. Echo response isn't buried anymore. The truth isn't silent anymore. And maybe, just maybe, we can finally be more than the sum of our scars. Maybe we can finally be whole.